Hi everybody, it's cold here, so I'm gonna sit here in the coldness and be cold. So I have been having migraines and epilepsy issues the past couple days, so I haven't really been able to make the video. But today's the second day of the full moon, and there's usually 3 days, so I figure I'll do the video today because I woke up and I was like, wow, I feel better. I could probably do the video today. And I come down here and I open my computer and I see the screen and I'm like, no. So instead of making 2 videos like I planned for my Celtic class and the Greek class, I'm just going to make 1 video and mention the Celtic and the Greeks, and I hope you'll forgive me. I will only do this when I really just can't look at screens. So the term Supermoon was made by an astrologer over 30 years ago. Cooper, hey, leave the cactus alone. Come here, you're gonna hurt yourself. Get out of there. Cooper's my service cat. This is Cooper, my service cat. She's just chilling. So she likes Okay, but anyway, so Cooper, stop it. She always eats the cactus, and I don't know why. So the term supermoon was made by an astrologer about 30 years ago to describe when the moon is at its closest point to the Earth. So for people in my Celtic class who watch the Austera video, it's a lot similar to Austera and the spring equinox. The scientists acknowledge that supermoon is a thing, but we are celebrating it for its spiritual reasons rather than just because it's scientists accept it as a thing. Supermoons are about 50,000 kilometers or a little over 31,000 miles closer to the Earth than normal. This is the second supermoon occurring in the 4 of 2020, and the first one was March. This one is April, of course, and then the next one is actually May, and then the next one is in June, so they're all right next to each other, which is really weird. So what the Celtics believed about supermoons is that, well, one, they didn't place much emphasis or belief in moon rituals. They just didn't really care. Because instead they focused more on the sun and nature. They focused on a sun cycle, and they had a tree calendar, so from rather than a moon calendar. So from March 18th to April 14th, it's almost coming to an end, is the alder tree month. The Celtics follow tree months instead of moon months, and this time of year, alder trees in Ireland were starting to come up and prosper on riverbanks because their roots would go into the water. And this was believed by them to create a bridge between the other world and the earth. And so the other world, which we will get into when we do the Celtic Otherworld book in the Celtic class, is heaven, hell, the underworld, the hell, it's like Shibalba, whatever afterlife you can think of, that is what the Celtics believe to be the other world. It's just the spirit world. Oh my gosh, the sun is getting into my face. So awkward. Okay, so Adler month is a time to make spiritual decisions. So this supermoon is going to be very strong for spiritual choices. You can use this month to practice prophecy or divination or getting in touch with your psychic abilities. You could use alder twigs as charms for fae or fairy magic. And so since Celticism and Druidism is in the minority of pagan spiritualities who focus on the sun rather than the moon, if you choose to do any of the small rituals that I'm going to talk about, and you want to only follow the Celtic pantheon, try communing with Arianrod. Arianrod has a very fascinating and tragic story. So look up the myth of Arianrod. Is the only deity in the Celtic pantheon who is identified with the moon. So she is considered the Celtic moon goddess. For my Greek class, how the Greeks used the supermoon. If I can get into my separate note thing here. Oh, what's happening? Okay, so I found it. What the Greeks believed about the supermoon is similar to what many pagan belief systems believe. They attributed the moon to let me back up. Okay. Most pagan beliefs attributed the moon to the masculine and the sun to the feminine. The Greeks were the ones who switched the two and believed that the moon was feminine and the sun was masculine. Early Greeks believed that the goddess Artemis ruled the moon, but later the goddess Selene was also used to represent the moon. And later on, even Hecate was used to celebrate the moon. So the Greeks viewed the moon as like anti-sun and believed that the lunar cycle allowed the moon goddess and goddesses to come down and visit us, giving us new possibilities. And because of the different like phases, how there's like people celebrate, the first quarter, there's like four, but depending on how thorough you are, you can either celebrate the new moon or the full moon, or you could celebrate also the first quarter and the last quarter, or there's even like the gibbuses and whatever. There's like up to 8 phases per month. So they believed that 8 times a month the moon goddesses would come down and give them new possibilities. Now the thing is that it is for that particular reason that Selene was ultimately decided to be the one, only, all-encompassing representation and incarnation of the moon. She stayed on the moon, basically, lived on the moon, just like Artemis lives in the woods, and, Hecate dwells, depending on who you talk to, the underworld. And because she's technically a Chthonic deity. And so since Artemis and Hecate are not known to live on the moon, the crescent moon is used in drawings and other depictions of Artemis and Hecate as like the crescent moon up on their head like this. And it showed that they did, work with the moon, but that they weren't the moon goddess. This is basically where the separation between Hecate and Artemis and Selene in regards to the moon comes in. So since Selene is considered moon incarnate, and the moon can be seen from anywhere, it was decided basically that the moon was her temple site. So there are no temple sites for Selene because you could see the moon from anywhere. Um, and the Greeks honored Selene by offering libations and reciting her hymns. While there are formal rituals that the Greeks use for full moon, the most commonly used one is drawing down the moon, which I mentioned below. And um, you can use drawing down the moon for whichever one of the moon goddesses you want. You can use Hecate, you can use Selene, or you can use Artemis, depending on who you vibe with more. Some people like to be very formal about it, and there are formal rituals that you can go and find. Um, but and some people like to just be accurate with it and be like, no, it's the moon, so I worship Selene at this. I work with Selene at this time. Like, it's just, depends on your preference. So ideas for small rituals. We are in quarantine, so I don't expect that any of you are going to be able to do a formal ritual. That's why I didn't put any links to them or anything. I didn't want you to feel the pressure of I'm just doing this small thing. I'm not actually doing the moon ritual. It doesn't matter. They appreciate that you tried. Don't Celtics and Greeks. Every time I've worked with them, they just appreciate that I tried. One time, I I call this ratchet paganism, because one of my friends used the term once when I was like, we don't have the supplies, so we're going to do this. And she was just like, just being ratchet with it. And I never really learned the definition of the term ratchet until 3 years later. And I had just been calling it ratchet paganism, so I never strayed from that. And basically what happened was I was like, okay, we need to make a circle, but we don't have any candles. We have grape juice, okay? Grapes represent this, so this element, I think it was air, so it's we can use grapes for that. Okay, we have hot sauce, so that could be for fire. Go outside, grab some dirt, we could put the dirt in there for earth. And then do we have an empty cup? Okay, that empty cup contains air now, so that's air. It was just really sad. We even had an ice cream bowl for spirit, because it's the spirits, the the childlike spirit or whatever. And the elements, I could just feel them laughing at us. We appreciate that you tried. It's fine as long as you put forth the energy and the effort. They don't mind that you're not formal all the time, because they understand that what was accepted back then isn't necessarily accepted now. So as long as especially for the Greeks, piety is a big value for the Greeks. So it's just acknowledging them when you think of them, and just being on the lookout for signs from them and stuff. That's piety, and that's fine. For the Celtics, they tried to be they tried to always live in the spiritual sense. They tried to view everything as a spiritual decision. And that's something that I learned from them, that I don't think I could ever go back to life before that, because it changes you so much. So as long as you're being intentional, and as long as you aren't doing this because, well, I'm too lazy, you're doing this because this is what you need to do at the moment. This is what you have materials for. This is what you can do. Whatever. Just do that and truly be into the experience, and they will love it. That's all that matters. So some of these small rituals. One is write down your dreams. During the supermoon and the full moon in general, you will have more vivid dreams, and they can be considered visions, prophecies, or revelations of goals that you might have, and they will be significant to you later, even if they are not now. Also, during this time, since the moon is in Pisces, it's very which is a very dreamy sign, and I know this because I am a Pisces. Not very good with zodiac, but I know my own. So write down your daydreams as well. I know this sounds really dumb, and some people say, well, I don't dream. Well, scientifically, that's not true. You just don't remember your dream. So if you don't remember your dreams, that's fine. You don't have to do this. Another thing you could try to do, that's why I have extra options. Another thing you could try to do is a manifesting ritual. And many spiritual leaders believe that this is the best use for a supermoon. So the first thing you do is you write down everything that you're ready to get rid of. You don't like this person in your life. You don't like that you watch TV too much. You don't like that you spend more time with people you don't like and trying to impress them than with people you do like who don't care. You don't like that your hair is brown and you want to go green. Like, whatever it is that you're ready to let go of, even if it's a list. I'm ready to let go of eating cake. I'm ready to let go of uh, spending 5 hours a day on my phone. Whatever it is, it can, and I'm listing like really material things and then even like deeper things because it can be anything. You don't need to have some major spiritual like list of like I'm ready to do like release this, and it doesn't have to be that. Just small simple things if that's what's important to you right now. The important thing about these rituals and the important thing to the gods is that you are doing what's important for you. So write down everything you're ready to release and let go. Hold a paper up in the air and say a prayer to whoever it is you speak to. It can be Aryan Rod, it can be Hecate, it can be Artemis, it can be Selene. If you want to go Roman for people who make Greek fast, you could go for Luna. If you wanna, if you found out that you have Native American ancestry and you want to celebrate that moon deity, go with that. If you are like, I'm not really ready to hook up with goddesses yet, I'm still comfortable with the gods. Okay, like see, try, like Zeus is king of the sky for people in my Greek class. Go for it. Again, the Celtics didn't really have many moon deities. To my knowledge, they only had Aryan Rod. But that's because I didn't really dwell off into the gods, So go for it. Do your research. Pray to whoever you want to pray to, even if you have a patron and you're just like, I'm just not ready to communicate with another deity. Go for it. Use your patron. That's fine. Use your matron. That's fine. Doesn't matter. Ask for assistance in releasing things that you no longer want in your life, that no longer serve you, and then burn paper. This symbolizes that you are releasing it. My biggest advice is do this over a sink and just take a match or a lighter and just burn it, and then when it gets close, drop it and turn on the water, and that's good enough. And then the next part of it, because there's two parts to a manifesting ritual. Write down everything it is that you want to call into your life. So if you wanted to release your brown hair, then you want to bring in green hair. I say that because one of my friend's hair, like she wants to dye it green. So that's what I'm thinking of at 8:30 in the morning. If you want to start making your decisions more spiritually, focus on releasing like your material priorities and manifest more spiritual priorities. Whatever it is that you want to call into your life, write it down. Hold it close to your heart and envision it as if it already happened. Say a prayer to whoever you speak to and ask them to assist you. Store that paper in a safe, like dollar stores have those little like square safes. I have one, and I put my stuff in there. Or a sacred place, like if you do have an altar, but I didn't have an altar until like this year, and I've been doing this for 11 years. So if you don't have an altar, that's fine. Or if you do, just put it on your altar, whatever it is, and revisit it every few weeks to see the things that have come into your life. Some people like to fold it and like tape it to the back of their bookshelves. Like I've seen it all, so just place it wherever you will remember to look at it every couple weeks. Okay, the next option is charging your crystals. This is something that everyone does, like most people do, not everyone because I don't, that most people do every full moon. I do it when my crystals are tired and need something. Like I, I just don't, like, I don't know what it is about me and the moon. I think it's just because my first paganism was Celtic, and so for the majority, I just was always taught that moon rituals are not the biggest deal in the world. But gather your crystals and place them either outside or next to a window that will allow them to soak up the moonlight, and they will absorb the power of a supermoon. It's usually recommended that you bring them back in before dawn so that the sun doesn't like contaminate them. But it doesn't like, and yeah, like that's part of the reason why I don't charge my crystals. You could just leave them out for like an hour or two, and or like just leave them out, and then and then say like, okay, I think it's fine, and like bring them back in. It's really based on your judgment or your feeling. But some people will probably come for me for saying that. Um, moon bathing. This is not an actual bath, even though you could. But just laying in the moonlight of the supermoon. Last night, I just like we have like these huge windows right here, and I just laid here and like felt it, and you felt the energy, and it was great because that's all that I could do. I was just off. Um, so it'll wash away all of your negativity, and you can meditate or pray during this. It's just like charging your crystals, except you're charging yourself. Um, Another is bless others with healing light. This seems very cliche. If you go to a lot of new age stores and the person the person who runs it is like trying to seem like they know what they're talking about, and you say, hey, I'm having this problem, what should I do? They'll usually say, oh, like, visualize white light surrounding you. And it just kind of leaves bad taste in my mouth sometimes, but it is a thing. Visualization is very important. Light is also similar to the aura. So visualize, what I say instead of bless others with healing light is bless others with a healing aura. Just visualize all the negativity in their aura being purged out, and hopefully like just keep it to yourself. You don't need to tell the person, hey, I healed you. Like, you don't need to do that. I personally like to ask permission before I do anything, but sometimes if I feel like somebody is really in danger, I'll just do it, but that's very, very rare. The one time that I did that, it was because my boyfriend was a firefighter, and he told me he was on his way into, like, he was in the truck on the way to a fire, and then I didn't hear from him for like 6 hours, and I was terrified. That's the only time, and that I ever did it without permission. Heal your emotions. So this is kind of a combination between moonbathing and writing down your dreams. You're kind of just journaling through your emotions, because emotions are very accessible when the moon is in Pisces like it is now. So you journal to express your inner truths, your feelings, your intentions, make decisions about what you really want. Um, Try to work through all the negativity that you're dealing with. Those are all good things to do during any full moon, but especially the super moon. Work with the element of water. I recommend scrying with water. Scrying with water usually on any regular day is like water can be very flaky. and, I, and I mean this with the best. Like, I don't mean any disrespect to water, but when you're using water for like divination, it can be very like, well, if you keep on the path you're on, this is what it will do. And then when you like go back and you're like, I think I need a second opinion, and you go back and you do it again, but it's just like, well, if you don't like that, then this could be the opportunity that comes up. And it's like, why? But since the supermoon is uh has not only a very big, strong pull with the tides, much more than regular full moons. And it's in the constellation Pisces, which is considered the main water sign. You could scry with water because it'll be more reliable during the supermoon. Supermoon incense. I was never able to burn incense when I first started because I lived with my parents, and I still do, so that's why I'm doing these videos only when my parents aren't around because they're very Christian, very Catholic. So the supermoon incense is a combination of mugwort, lavender, and cinnamon. Most people use equal parts, but since I know the annoyance of being sensitive to different scents, um, do whatever parts you feel comfortable doing. Since it's an incense, you can mix dried herbs and cinnamon sticks. If you want to make an oil, you can use olive oil as a base and put the dried herbs in that and let it sit. You can use olive oil as a base and put essential oil drops in it. Make a supermoon cookie. I used to make cookies for the full moon when I was in college, and it was great. I would decorate them with frosting, and I would just like write on it like bless and heal and whatever, and I would just go to all my pagan friends in the dorm, and I would be like, here's a cookie for the full moon. So instead of making a bunch of little cookies, what you do is you put them all together and you make a giant cookie. Like those cookie pie cake things that you used to be able to get at malls. You know, just those giant cookies. And the like Hungry Howie's, how they have, and Domino's, how they have those huge cookies. Pizza Hut, just make a giant one and go for it. Make a supermoon cookie. Okay, so another one is cast. If you have been waiting to do a spell or a ritual or a meditation and you're just like, the time isn't right. The time is right now. It is the supermoon. Go for it. Do the thing. Do a dedication. If you've developed a fantastic ritual with a deity and you think you know that this is the person that, not the person, this is the deity that you want to work with, mainly do a dedication. There are different levels of dedications, so if you need more information on that, please like record a video saying like, hey, I need more information on these dedication things. What are you talking about? I've done plenty, and I will definitely help you with your dedications. Use the heightened energy of the supermoon to make more meaningful contact with deities, and you can work with your eye chakra, your third eye chakra, or your crown chakra if they're usually underactive. Drawing down the moon. It's pretty simple. It's just awkward to do your first couple times. Seriously. Make a circle like you regularly do, and you stand up and you do this so that the moon's rays can like kind of soak in. And you recite some stuff. There are different like versions, so go online and type in draw down the moon ritual. Be prepared. I always tell people when we draw down the moon their first time for the full moon, this is high energy, this is intense, you need to be ready. This is not just a full moon, this is a super moon. This is highly charged power, much more energy than the regular full moon. So be prepared and do that thing if you're ready. Lastly is store it. If you can't do something right now, I recommend getting a plastic water bottle that you haven't opened yet, or even just like a regular plastic water bottle that you've used or whatever, and you can just fill it up with water, close it, label it Supermoon April 2020, put it out under the new moon, under the supermoon, or like with your crystals, or like by the windowsill or whatever, and just keep that water. And anytime you need the energy of a full moon, but you're in a pinch, or anytime you think, wow, I really need to like have a lot of energy for this, use that water. You don't need much for each ritual. Like you don't need to like, oh, I'm doing a dedication, I need to use this whole bottle. Nope, you don't need to do that. You can make that extend for a long time. So put it in a closable container. Don't do it in a cup because then you can't store it properly. You could use a big water bottle, or just like even like but make sure that it's either clear, or that or that you leave the bottle open so that the moon's rays can come in. Make sure that the moon light can hit the water, or at least the opening. So I recommend clear stuff, but like you can just put it into a regular one if you leave the cap open. So, and the reason why I said before, like it could be a actual bath, dude. Like, go for it. Put some drops of the moon water into a bath and go. Like, it might be a cool experience. It was a cool experience when I first did it. So these are the types of things that I do during the full moon because I'm just not into very big rituals for the moon. But if you guys have any questions, record a video press the little green plus button, record a video, and let me know. Bye. Have a good supermoon.